A very good morning and Jai Hind to all my dear children. Today, ma'am is going to teach you a new poem. So, are you all ready? Class, today I am going to teach you a poem. Probably this is the last poem of your syllabus. Break, break, break. And this poem is written by Lord Tennyson. Class, what is the most valuable thing we have in our life? Can you tell me what is the most important thing that you have in your life? Yes, our friends. That is the valuable, the precious thing that we cherish. And this poem Break, Break, Break is also about the friendship. This poem is written by Lord Tennyson about his one of the friend. His friend's name was Arthur Henry Hallam, who died due to brain hemorrhage. And when that Hallam died, Tennyson was very badly missing him. Doesn't it happen that when unfortunately we lose any of our friends, so we start missing him at every place, every moment that we have spent with that friend, don't we? The things we used to share, whenever we have those things in our hand, we miss, we start remembering that yes, we used to share this thing with each other. Suppose the place where you used to play with your friend, if you are there without him or her, so you start missing that yes, this is the place where we used to play together, or the things you used to discuss with each other. Okay, so this happens with everybody. So the same thing is happening with Lord Tennyson also. He is missing his friend very badly. He is in deep suffering in his absence. Okay, and in each and everything, he is seeing the reflection of his friend only. Okay, I hope you are surely going to enjoy reading this poem. So, the title of this poem is Break, Break, Break. Break, Break, Break means the heart of Lord Tennyson is badly broken. He is finding himself in deep depression. He has no purpose in his life without his friend. Okay, so Lord Tennyson, let's discuss little about Lord Tennyson, what kind of writer he is. Children, the full name of Lord Tennyson is Lord Alfred Tennyson, and he was born on 6 August 1809 in Somerset, United Kingdom. He was one of the most important and popular British poets of the 19th century. He was the poet laureate during the Queen Victoria's reign in 1829, and uh, mm, Alfred Lord Tennyson has started writing poetry at a very young age. Do you know his first volume of poetry, Poems by Two Brothers, was published when he was just 18? If we talk about the best known works of Tennyson's, so that are In Memoriam, The Passing of Arthur, Ulysses, Tithonus, The Charge of the Light Brigade, and Tears, Idle Tears. Apart of that, there are many more that you can read and enjoy. He was the poet laureate of Great Britain and Ireland for many years, and Tennyson died on 6 October 1892 in Lancashire, United Kingdom. Okay, now let's enjoy reading this poem, Break, Break, Break. I hope you all are having your book with you. And don't forget to keep the pencil to underline the new words, the words that are new to you and you don't know their meaning. I will keep on telling, I will keep on explaining the poem. But beta, if there is any such word that you don't know, so you can check its meaning from the dictionary later. Clear? As you can see, this poem has four stanzas carrying four lines each. So, altogether, there are 16 lines in this poem, and it is a beautiful lyric poem. Children, short, expressive, and basically, it is expressing the poet's personal emotion, personal thoughts that are focusing on the death and loss of his friend. Okay, so let's start reading this poem, and you children can read it in your book, Parallel to Me. Break, break, break on thy cold grey stones, O sea, and I would that my tongue could utter the thoughts that arise in me. The poet is sad, he is in deep suffering, and he is standing at the seashore, okay, looking at the vast broad spreaded sea. The waves are arriving as it is morning, the sun is rising, everything around him is beautiful. But as the poet is in pain, the pain of his friend's death, so that beauty is not able to make him pleased. So, what is he saying? He is saying that break, break, break on thy cold grey stones or sea. The poet is looking at the waves that are arising in the sea. Okay, and they are breaking and scattered on the stones at the side of the sea. So, what he is saying? He is thinking that as the waves of the sea are unable to express what they want to say, in the same manner, the poet is also unable to express his thoughts or the feelings. It is written, and I would that my tongue could utter. Utter means speak. Means he is not able to speak. What? The thoughts that arise in me, the thoughts that are going on in his mind, the pain that he's feeling inside. Okay, so the way the waves of the oceans are unable to express their feelings, in the same manner, the poet is also unable to express his feeling. The feeling of what are that feelings are the pain, repentance, suffering, agony. So he is fully failed to express his the depth of sorrow. Now look at the second stanza. Oh well, for the fisherman's boy that he shouts with his sister at play. Oh well, for the sailor's lad that he sings in his boat on the bay. Now, here the poet has described the beauty, the celebration that is going around him. What he is saying, he is looking at the fisherman's boy who is playing with his sister on the seashore. He is talking about the sailor's lad. Lad means boy. He's sailor's lad who is singing in his boat. Okay, so the poet is saying that everybody is celebrating the life, everybody is enjoying, everybody has happiness in his life except him. He is saying that he is very restless. There is no pleasure left in his life without his friend. He is seeing no hope, no happiness around him. The nature is so beautiful. It is introducing lots of pleasure, but the life of the poet is empty. He doesn't find anything in his life. Now, look at the third stanza. And the stately ships go on to their haven under the hill. But oh, for the touch of a vanished hand and the sound of a voice that is still. Now, here what is he saying? And the stately ship. What is stately ship? Stately is big, enormous, very big. So, and the stately ships go on to their haven under the hill. The poet is looking, Tennyson. Tennyson is the poet of this poetry. So Tennyson is looking at big, big ships. And what the ships are doing? They are moving towards their destination. What is the destination of a ship? The port, the harbor, where they are loaded or unloaded. So what is Tennyson saying? And the stately ships go on. The big, big ships are sailing and moving towards their destination, to their heaven under the hill. That the harbor, the port that is under the hill, they are moving towards that. They are reaching to their destination. What exactly the poet wants to say here? Children, here ships. Ship is referring to the soul of his friend Halam. As he is dead, so his soul is the ships are representing the his friend's soul. And heaven, Haven, heaven, this heaven has two meanings. Pay attention, class. Haven, heaven is the port or the harbor where the ships are loaded or unloaded. The second heaven is Heaven, that is also heaven. And what is that heaven? That heaven is the home of God, the paradise. So here the reaching of ships at the port and the reaching of the soul in the heaven, that these two things are presented here. So what the Tennyson is saying? Tennyson is saying that the ships have reached to their port, same as his friend's soul has reached to the paradise. But the life of poet Tennyson is stopped right there. The time is changing, it is progressing, the people are walking further in their life, but the poet's life is purposeless. There is nothing left in his life. He has no definite plan in his life, nothing to do in his life. He is still right there where his friend left him. But oh, for the touch of a vanished hand. Here this O word is used. This O letter is used to show the depth of his pain. What is he saying? But oh, for the touch of a vanished hand and the sound of a voice that is still. He's saying that he is longing. He is longing for his that deceased friend. He wants to touch those hands. Whose hands are these? His friend's hands. He wants to touch those hands. Vanished means disappeared, gone. So he wants to touch those hands again, means he wants to feel that love again. And the sound of a voice that is still. And what Tennyson wants to hear? The voice of his friend who is dead. That is still. Still means no more. Okay. So here is saying that the main the whether you can say the literal meaning, the meaning of this stanza is that the time is changing, the time is progressing, but for Tennyson the time has stopped. His life is purposeless. Now come to the last stanza, the fourth stanza. Break, break, break at the foot of thy cracks, O sea, but the tender grace of a day that is dead will never come back to me. What is he saying? Again, this break, 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 he's showing the movement of the waves, that they are coming and scattered at the stones. And at the foot of thy crag or sea, means here now the waves are touching the foot of the cliff. Why this second line has been changed by the poet? To show the change in the time. Means the time is changed now, but still he is there. But the tender grace of a day that is dead. The tender grace. What is tender grace? The happy moments of life. What are those happy moments? The time he spent with his friend. So he's saying, but the tender grace, those happy days, those happy moments, that is dead. That means that are over, no more. As the friend is not there, So that togetherness, that enjoyment is also not there, will never come back to me. Those days are not going to come back to me. So what basically the poet is trying to say, that he is saying that he is very shocked and shattered. He is finding nothing, you know. He is disappointed, he is longing for his departed friend. But the things in his surrounding, the time and life, the nature, everything is progressing, everything is moving ahead. Okay, so time and this that the time doesn't wait for anything. Whatever happening takes place in life, it keeps on progressing. But somewhere for Tennyson, the life has stopped. Now let's talk about the theme of what is the main idea of this poem. Basically, the theme of this poem is grief and acceptance. Grief is the sadness of losing someone that is close to your heart. And acceptance means whatever misfortune or mishappening take place in life, it doesn't the life never ever stops for anything. The nature and life, they keeps on moving. So same way we need to overcome from our suffering, from our pain, and look forward. We need to learn to walk with the pace of time. So basically, this poem is an elegy. What is elegy, children? Elegy is a sad poem written in the memory of a close one, the dear one. Okay, so this poem is an elegy that describes Tennyson's feelings of loss after his friend's death. The poet is trying to say that when you escape the clutches of society, what are the clutches of society? The rules and regulations, the customs, the traditions. Okay, you eventually regret and want to come back, but sometimes there is no going back. And you have to be isolated from the world and have to seek for the other ways of living. What exactly it wants to say that we suppose, unfortunately, if any such thing happens in our life that take us in the depression, in the nervousness, it doesn't mean that we leave the world, we leave the hope to live on. No, we need to learn how to come out from that situation. We need to be stronger, we need to be more courageous, more strong, we need to be stronger to stand in those circumstances. Okay, children, there is nothing in this life as such stronger as such you are. Your willpower is always stronger than any worse condition. We need to recognize it. We need to develop such uh, positivity in ourselves. We need to bring a change in our view. Okay, the day your opinion is changed, the entire world is changed. Okay, the life and nature keep on going unaffected with the happenings of human world. Whatever is going, the nature never stops for anyone. Same as the time and the life also. If you don't walk along with the time, so you are left behind. The time will keep on moving, the life will keep on moving, but the time that you have spent in repentance, so you have exactly wasted that time of your life. Everyone must learn the art of living, moving ahead, making compatibility and compromising with the circumstances is life. Okay, now let's talk about the poetic devices of this poem. Okay, so if we talk about the rhyming scheme of this poem, so rhyming scheme, uh, let's look at what is rhyming scheme, children. Beta, a rhyming scheme refers to the pattern of rhyming words at the end of the each line. Means you all must be having your book. Just look at the first stanza. Break, break, break. K, with the first line is ending with K sound. So I will name it A. Okay. Now the second line. O C. The sound of C and break. Both are different. They are not rhyming. So at the sound is different. I will name it B. The first was A. The second sound is B. Okay. Now look at the third line. And I would that my tongue could utter R. The last sound is R. R. This is also different from the first two. I will name it B. Okay. Sorry, this will be C. Okay. So A, B, C. Now look at the last line. The thought that arises in me. Me. This me and C. The sound of the second line and the sound of the last word of fourth line is similar. So I will give the same name to it, like the second and fourth line. The rhyming scheme of second and fourth line is BB. What does it mean? With every new sound of the last letter, I will name it with a separate alphabet. And if that same sound is repeated, so it will be denoted with the same alphabet. So what is the rhyming scheme of the first stanza? It is A, B, C, B. Okay. Now look at the second stanza. Let's solve this also. So that would be more clear to you how to do it. And this is very important, children. Sometime the rhyming scheme of a poem is asked, or a poem will be given to you and asked you to write the rhyming scheme of that poem. So you must know how to find out the rhyming scheme of a poetry. Now, oh well, for the fisherman's boy. This boy, the sound of boy is different from the all four lines of the first stanza. So I will denote it with a separate alphabet, that D. I have given the name of it is D. Now, add the play. Now, play, the sound of play is also different. It is not similar to any of the lines before. So I will denote it with E. Now, oh well, for the sailor's lad. Lad, the sound of lad is also different. First time introduced in from the previous lines. So I will denote it with F. Now, look at the last line of the second stanza. That he sings in his boat on the bay. Now, bay and play, both are similar, second and fourth in this. So I will denote it with E. Okay, so what is the rhyming scheme of the second stanza? D, E, F, E. So in the same manner, in this poem, children, the second and fourth line and in a rhyming, which the first and third don't. Okay, the same kind of. So next two stanzas also must be, you must write the rhyming scheme of the next two stanzas also. Okay, write it in the book only. Now let's talk about the figure of speeches. Figure of speeches, alteration, I introduced you before. It is not that much important for you at this level, but you must have the knowledge, because in the further classes you will study these figure of speeches in detail. So you must know what are they. Basically here alteration is can be seen in the first line as the same. What is alteration? The repetition of the same sound or same alphabet. So break, 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 all are proceeding with the beginning with the same sound B, B. So here alteration can be identified. Now, a part of alteration, I am going to introduce you one more poetic device. What is that? Anaphora. What is anaphora, children? Anaphora means the repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of the successive line of the stanza. Like here, the poem is beginning with break, 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 the repetition of the same word. Break, break, break. In the beginning, I told you, in the beginning of the successive line or the stanza. So, as the poem is starting with the repetition of the same word, so this is known as anaphora. A part of that, one more figure of speech is used in this, that is metaphor. Where metaphor, what is metaphor? When the comparison is made with two, between two. Okay, now here the direct comparison. Look at the lines on my screen. And the stately ships go on to their haven under the hill. Here, ship is compared with, is representing the soul, and heaven is representing the heaven, the paradise. So as the comparison is made with ship and heaven, of soul and the paradise, that heaven, so here metaphor, figure of speech is used. Clear? That is this poem. Overall, this is a very uh, lyric poetry, children. Very short and simple, very expressive, very means melodious also somewhere, easy to understand, and I hope you all will enjoy reading it. Clear? And I want you all to must read it once and try to learn. It's a very good poem. Means whenever you feel any kind of depression or any pain in your pain, so you can recite and enjoy it. Clear? That's all for today's class, children. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Take a good care of yourself.